Hi, my friends, my fellow dandelions. Dandelions because we can thrive and take root in the harshest conditions. And I was going to come to you today with a whole different video than what this is going to be. Something has something has changed my path this morning, and I'll tell you about it. So I've always kept an Air Force wall in my home. My father was a career Air Force uh, serviceman. I grew up on Air Force bases. Um, my son went into the Air Force after high school. My daughter went into the Air Force after high school, and so my sister served in the Air Force. I tried. I went down to join when I was 18, and I was 6 pounds over their limit, even though I was pretty skinny back then, but I was 6 pounds over their limit. And they weren't real encouraging for women to join back then, or this particular recruiter. I don't know, 6 pounds. So I never did lose the 6 pounds, but I did get a date with that recruiter. I went out with him a few times, but I never went back and tried to get in again. But I come from a family of Air Force people. And so I've always had an Air Force honor wall where I've had the portraits of my father, my son, my sister, and my daughter, and different accomplishments, that they all achieved in the service. And so now we're in the new house, and I was, unboxing, and I came across all the Air Force stuff. And, I shared with you 2 or 3 weeks ago that I found out my daughter had come to Little Rock to see her paternal grandmother. And of course, I never knew about it. Those That always saddens me, because it's another missed opportunity. I don't know how long any of us is going to be here. And every time I find out, that she does make the effort to come see her paternal grandmother, but she doesn't see her brother. One of my sons lives here. She did not visit him. She didn't visit any of my side of the family. Have some aunts and stuff here. So, it does kind of twist the knife a little bit. It's easier when I know she's clear across the country, and there's no there's no chance of seeing her. But when I find out she was here, and still hasn't softened her heart. um but anyway, get back to my Air Force wall. So I found the box with all of that, and I was all set. I told my husband, just put her stuff in the attic. I'm not going to put her on display uh in my house. She hasn't earned that right. I've always kept her picture up, thinking that the day that the doorbell rings and she's standing on my doorstep, I can show her that she never left. Her place has always been here. And same with my grandsons, have their pictures up, because I always thought if they ever show up, I want them to see they have been a part of our lives, even though we weren't a part of theirs. But this time I was like, I'm kind of done with it. And so I told him to put her picture up in the attic, and I didn't hang her up on the Air Force wall. But then this morning, God has a way. God has a way of reaching you, even when you're not seeking the answer. But, you know, I'm in the age group where I was a fan of the Osmond brothers, and I know some of my viewers are too. And, Alan Osmond just passed away in the service. You can find it on YouTube. I'll put a link here in the description. I watched I zipped through some of it because, it's over an hour long, but I did stop and hear. I heard Donnie speak, and I heard a couple of his sons, and his 8 sons sing together. It's kind of like barbershop quartet style, but there's 8 of them. They're good. They could be another Osmond Brothers act. One of the songs they sang it really touched my heart, and I think it was God speaking to me. And I hope I don't get emotional, but the chorus of it was, "When there is love in the home." And the words really spoke to me. There is love in this home, you know, and I love my daughter. Um, it's been 19 years. We're going on 20 years of this. And, you know, most of the time I'm strong. And then, you know, there are those weak moments, even all these years later. So I am going to put her on the Air Force wall. She is my daughter. She still has a place here. And I really encourage you, go listen to that service. It's the celebration of life for Alan Osmond. It was so uplifting, so much love in the Osmond family. And my hat is off to them. You know, there were a lot of Osmonds, Donnie, Marie, Alan, Wayne, Jay, you know, I mean, they had a lot. And then Alan had his own eight son family, all boys. Can you? And so, you know, they're very, very prolific, but so much love between all of them. And I couldn't pull that off with only 3 kids, you know. Um, my sons are fine. In fact, they're both going to be here over at the house at the end of this month. My husband's birthday is coming up, and trying to get, you know, people together for that. And anyway, the son who lives here will be here, and I think the one who's currently working in California is going to fly in. So that'll be kind of fun. But you know, there's a hole here for my daughter. But that Osmond celebration of life, if you need a blessing today, please go watch it. Um, you can zip through, but when you see all of the sons standing up there, they're singing, and just listen to their songs. And it's going to be the second song they sang, called "When There Is Love in the Home." And one of the sons, do you remember the Donnie and Marie show, when they had their own little variety show? And they closed it out every week with a certain song. And I did not know that Alan wrote that song. And one of the sons read it off in its entirety, and it's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. And it just blessed me so much today, and reminded me, I can't control anybody else. I can only control myself, and I just have love. I want to close with this. Apparently, Alan taught one of his sons, probably taught all of them, but one of them specifically mentioned this, and I thought it was important enough that I made a note of it. He said, "Pain is inevitable in this life, but suffering is optional." Oh, let me say that again. Pain is inevitable in this life, but suffering is optional. Wow, that's exactly right. Pain, other people will hurt you. That is true. But are you going to allow yourself to suffer for it? Or how long will you allow yourself to suffer for it? So, you know, I had a little low point here, a little depression with my knowing that my daughter was here once again, you know, and didn't want to come see me. But I do have a daughter. She's healthy. She's living her life. She's going to be up on my Air Force wall. I'm proud of her. And that's all I can control. That's it. I don't know I'm rambling if you find anything useful in this or not, but I think that you will have a blessing if you go and watch at least parts of that service. It uplifted me and reminded me that really love is all that matters. Love is all that matters. That's all we leave behind. That's all we take with us. I hope y'all have a great day. I hope that this has blessed you in some way. I'll be talking to you soon.